Welcome to the first episode of How Teachers Are Transforming Education Across Africa, one classroom at a time. Today, we are inviting guest Yao Egan from the Ashanti region of Ghana to talk about his journey and how he is transforming his classroom into little readers. He has a passion for changing the narrative from people thinking that Africans can't read to all children can read. When you listen to him speak, you will hear the passion in his voice and through his experience to really help all children to learn to be able to read. So it's so exciting to have him here. Yao Egan started in the classroom as a classroom teacher teaching grade 2, and then he was moved to grade 1 because of his passion for reading and really building that foundational level of reading for the kids. Because he was doing so well, his head teacher promoted him to do teacher training in the school to help all the teachers to learn the skills and the strategies to really teach reading effectively. And so since then, he has actually moved to the district office where he is working in human resources development and management and development. And he is the lead of many teachers to provide training and support in the different schools of his district. So I'd just like to welcome Yao Egan to tell us his story. Good morning, Yao. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited that you are the first participant in our launch of the podcast, How Teachers Are Transforming Education Across Africa, one classroom at a time. So without any further ado, I would just like for you to introduce yourself. Let us know a little bit more about who you are and how you became a teacher. What is your story and what makes you so passionate about teaching and particularly about reading?
Thank you very much, darling. Good morning to you and your listeners all over the Africa and other parts of the world. As you rightly said, I am Yao Egan, a professional teacher in the Ashanti region, precisely in the Amansia West district. In fact, reading, when it comes to that area, it has become my passion. In fact, from junior high school, it was then I realized that my mother wanted me to read and write because she couldn't have that skill. She bought a book for me, Methodist hymn book. She wanted me to read the lines so she could sing. My motive was not to come and teach when I was in JHS. I did not get basis in mathematics. So at senior high, a friend taught me. He took me through the basis of mathematics. Prince Jude Queno. He did this. So at the SHS, I realized that I was struggling in maths. I went back to all my notes at the GHS, solved all troubling questions given to me then. When I mastered that, I decided to come and help people to do well in mathematics. At college, as an accounting student, I was coming out to teach maths and chi. But when I came to the field, it was then I realized that learners were promoted, not prepared. I found out that we were trying to complete syllables and not the foundation. It reminded me what my mother was missing. My mother couldn't read or write. Here I am, a real classroom, learning are not able to read and write, yet they've been promoted. I saw learners at the upper level finding it difficult to read simple words. So I shifted from my wanting to teach mathematics to help at the foundation to close that gap. Instead of me doing mathematics, no, I wouldn't focus in completing the curriculum or the syllabus. I will focus on building the foundation. So all my years, for about 15 years of teaching, most of them is at a lower level. Primary 1 to 3. Sometimes I go to the kids to help because I saw that teachers are kind of forced to complete syllabus or the curriculum, forgetting their foundation. I realized if a child can read, they can do all other subjects, but that was missing out. So that was why I became a teacher to build a foundation.
That's an amazing story. And I think it speaks to a lot of us how we start out thinking that we're going to help in one way, but then life teaches us that there's something else that we can give. And when we
Sure.
follow that path, we really can put our full heart and mind. I'm sure that you're probably an amazing math teacher, but to really understand that you can't even do the math problems if you can't read the math problems.
You're right.
So that reading is even important even when you're doing math. So what
Right.
an incredible journey you've been on. So in your mind, can you tell us some stories from your experience about how you were able to see the needs in the class and really address those needs? Like real practical stories of kids and then how that progressed into you becoming the teacher trainer?
Thank you very much. Yes, I have a lot of experiences when it comes to that side. I was in a village, so the school block was not a new one. It was old. It has no windows. It has no doors. So even in school, after school, children play in the room. This is where I have my 36 learners, unable to read. Meanwhile, they've all been promoted to me. I couldn't sleep. So I asked myself, what will I do? I need to expose these kids to prints, but I cannot paste them here. I therefore went to shops, got cardboards, things that they are not using in the environment, some sticks, some papers, prints that I could write. I could put them in bags, I could put them in cardboards, I could put them in boxes. After lesson, I pack them, I send them to the master's office. Every morning, I go to it, I display it, and then step by step, I believe in that. In fact, it is difficult, but it takes committed teachers to do it. Therefore, sounds letter by letter. As I told you earlier, I did Asante Tree. So I was coming to teach Asante Tree and maths. So it became a foundation for me to help them get the sounds in L1. And the skill is easily transferable. Therefore, I began showing them prints. If you have a letter sound length, it is written boldly, the small and the big, it is placed or nailed on the wall. After lesson, we pick them. Every morning, there is a routine. We go to these cars, we make the sounds, production, big, and then the small. We go to the next, we do it. We go to the next, we do it. Then we had a place where we have banked our podcasts. We go there, we pronounce those words. Some words are sight, so I help them get them, and with step by step, one at a time. First term will go. Second term, I saw the signs. Blending of sounds begin, and some of them I will see them blending, trying to pronounce them. In fact, it's lovely to see learners when they get or when they master the sounds and begin to blend to read simple words on the board. So beautiful.
That's incredible. So I just wanted to point out, you said L1, that means their first language, right? So you're teaching them the sounds and letters of their own first language and then
Yes,
transferring that information and that knowledge to English, which would be their
yes,
second language. That's incredible.
exactly,
And the other thing I
exactly.
just wanted to point out is how during the first term, you really focused on single letter sounds and really
Sure,
making sure that the kids are competent with the sounds before you move to words, which I think is really
sure.
important for teachers to really think about because sometimes when we're just doing the sounds, we think, oh, they're not really learning anything, they're not really learning to read. But to really take the time to really build those foundations is really important. So, wow, that's really great. And you said that by the end of the year, the kids were starting to read sentences and short stories.
That's right. That's right. That's
Incredible.
right.
So, and I really love that you added in the twee aspect of it because it's really important for kids to know who they are and where they come
Sure.
from and build
Sure.
that confidence so that they can move forward in confidence rather than denying who they are. So,
It's that develop the reading and understanding first in theirs. So when you get it and the transferring it is a bit easier.
yeah. So do you have any stories of a specific child that had difficulty that you were able to add some extra practice to really help them push forward?
Yes, I have a lot of them. In fact, YouTube, I would say Facebook. When I first opened it, and then some of these learners saw the page, kind of comments they gave, I read some portions and I began to shed tears. Just as I said, it was a village. They didn't like school because, in fact, if a child can't read, school isn't a place to enjoy. No, learners don't enjoy school when they can't read. But when they get that skill, going to school is something fun. I found a lot of them who are not able to read, therefore, they are back in the house. I had opportunity to get them basic things they need. Some, it were common uniforms, their home attire, footwear. I brought all these people in the classroom. After assessment, I found out that this is what these people will need. I had a cardboard. I have told myself that I will be like a carpenter. You know, darling, when you invite a carpenter to come to your house to fix something for you, they come with their own tools. Things they will use to measure, they nail everything, they come to your house fixing it for you. So I told myself I'll be like a carpenter. I will have everything I need in my classroom. I wouldn't wait for the school to provide me because this is what I want to achieve. And with time, I'm going to do it. Therefore, I got all my resources that I will need. Those I need to buy, those I need to get from the environment. I got all of them. So this is what I'm going to do for these level of people. I will write them on cardboard. I sit them, in fact, the classroom arrangement, I do it myself. Purposely, a boy and a boy and a girl, column 1, column 2, column 3, the rows, I do everything myself. I write names, place them in front of the desk. I find a clear salute, I place them on them. You write your name before the exercise. This for me, it worked. So after 3, 4 weeks, you write before exercises. They write before exercises. So with time, they get it. They don't even look at what I have placed in front of them. Those that don't master, I go back to write them if they fall off and pieces there. I don't get worried because I want them to read. I found out that there are upper primary level learners, P4, 5, and 6, who couldn't even write their names. They remember writing it once at the back of their book, and that's all. So I decided to change that. In my classroom, these are pasted. So when we got a block where we could lock our doors and windows, my classroom was building literacy. Step out, my print, step in for me. During break time, other learners will come in, they'll be going through the wall, they'll be learning by themselves. When I sit back and I watch, I enjoy the kind of progress they were making. So in fact, a lot of them.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's amazing to see that you've overcome not even just the reading struggle, but the fact that you have limited resources. And then you were saying before about how you didn't even have doors or windows, and so you couldn't leave things in your classroom. So it's all of these things that are so important to think of the solutions. And I'm so grateful that you're sharing how you were able to overcome these situations so that maybe you can help some other new teachers or some teachers that are struggling to really think about what's in their environment and who they have in their community also that can help them. And I love your analogy about the carpenter. That's so great. I think that we all need to think of as teachers, as carpenters are building knowledge, that we're building these children up to construct their own knowledge as well. I love how you said about you walk out of the classroom, the learning still happens. And that's so important to be able to have the confidence that the kids are motivated to really learn on their own without a teacher holding a stick over them or putting the fear of God into them, which a lot of us, we use that strategy instead of really drawing out the kids. So I'm just so excited to hear about the successes that you've had. So if you look at your school now or the situation, what do you think is the most important way forward for teachers across Ghana, teachers across West Africa, Africa as whole, to really move forward to getting a message? You had said before that you want to change the narrative. You can speak a little bit about that, and then how can that happen? What can we be doing?
Thank you very much. Over the years, and it is still happening, teachers are made to focus on completing the curriculum, completing the syllabus, instead of focusing on teaching the foundation, making them understand. Outcomes of performances, teachers are judged on that. Therefore, for a teacher to be judged of an exams, they kind of shift the focus from teaching for them to understand than teaching them to pass. I remember you shared an experience during COVID that the learners came to your place. They exhibited things they wanted to learn. And with their limited resources, learning went on very natural and beautiful. Teachers don't have this kind of thing. Fidelity of implementation is something like what is happening in my corner should happen in your corner at the same time. But learning, it doesn't happen like that. If teachers are given the opportunity to help them build a foundation, well, because reading is a process, development is a process. Every child has its own time or the stages they will go through. If you place it that all of them should do this at the same time, it doesn't happen. It does not happen. And this is what I think if there should be a change. We have a standard-based curriculum. In fact, it was to come and help us shift from completing the curriculum, completing the syllabus at the end of the lesson, focusing on building competencies. But in a way, it is still not happening. If a teacher will be judged at the end of the day, why do I focus on building the competence? Let me see that they pass. So I would love them to just the way you handle your learning during COVID brought a natural way of finding things, children learning. And when they learn that, it sticks to them. They own the learning. It becomes they become part of it, and they own it, and it becomes something that stays for long. But if you push them through, it is true. Last week we didn't finish, for example, we couldn't finish the lesson, but we need to finish this area. So we put it aside, we concentrate on this week's. Meanwhile, last week we didn't understand. And why can we move forward if we don't get the basis, we don't understand this? And this has brought about reading challenges, learning challenges as they progress. We're not getting them well at a particular stage. I wish this is changed.
And what you said, it's standard-based, it's competency-based. So how can we help teachers to know how to implement that in the way that it was meant, in the way that it was rolled out?
Thank you very much. In fact, it says in the teacher's resource that teachers are not obliged, they are not forced to teach the way trans and trans are organized in the curriculum. They should look at their local environment, teach it to suit them. But unfortunately, it's not happening like that. It is not happening like that. If you all have a common timetable and we all have a common scheme of learning, and at the end of the day, we are going to have a common exams. A teacher in their own locality cannot follow what the resource park is saying. So they are forced to follow. If policymakers will adjust this for teachers, it will help them so they follow the learner's need instead of making them write a common exam at the end of the day. So if you are given a common scheme to follow, you can't do your own thing in your own class. You have to follow.
So how can you take that scheme of work, but make some shifts, add some activities or strategies that you can work within the system? Because at the end of the day, teachers need to get their paycheck. And if the policymakers and the leadership are sending the paycheck, then they actually need to follow what is set. But how can you work within that system to really push the learning forward?
But this is a shared responsibility. The directorate and then the teachers need to meet regularly so we share common ideas. This is what we intend to do. This is what we want to achieve. So when these things are discussed, broken down in pieces, then we take them piece by piece. I believe with understanding, as most of them are dedicated and passionate about it, we could achieve it. But this is purely district based. We do ours.
So what I want us to really try to focus on is what the teachers can do despite whatever their leaders, the head teachers, the district, whatever they're saying. What can teachers continue to do in the classroom to encourage students to actually do well on these exams without teaching to the test, without these strict measures of like, oh, this curriculum has to be done? What can teachers do to meet the demands, but also meet the needs of the children?
That's right. In fact, it is given to us that we are the managers of the classroom. Just as you always tell us, we are managers of the classroom. We are managing them. So though they've been given us, we have to complete this, we have completed that. We sit down, we select things to build the learners for life, not to pass exams. So it's true. Out of what we've been given, we are to select the appropriate things to help build our learners for life and not for exams. We can do so.
Okay. And so I know your passion for reading. How does reading play a part in that?
It has become a tool or a skill that enables the learner to read other subjects. It has that if a child is not able to read, every other subject is kind of becoming difficult. But earlier, I said I wanted to do mathematics. I got lucky. I was able to read, but I missed some bases, so I didn't enjoy maths. Those who are not the same having my story, if they cannot read, any subject is difficult. They don't enjoy any subject. So I strongly believe when reading is taught well, learners develop this skill. It's then that they will have interest in reading to learn other subjects as well.
Right. Because if they can't read, they can't even read the test, right? To answer the
No,
questions. So
no,
that's a problem.
no.
So what I'm thinking, like when I listen to you talk, I'm thinking that so if you build the skill of reading, then all subjects will improve. And so if the teachers are given a specific curriculum, they can take that curriculum, but teach it from a reading perspective, that we're going to learn this material, but while I'm teaching that material, I'm going to be teaching them to read the words. So we can take, like, if we have a science lesson where they have to learn the parts of a plant, and they can learn to read each of those parts of the plant, and you can use phonics to teach those words. Do you have
Thank you very much. Yes. Unfortunately, these things are a kind of given to the teachers who teach language. The local language teacher and then the English language teacher, they are kind of seen to be teaching these things. If I'm a social studies teacher or I'm a science teacher, I come in to teach science. But with this, if you all understand that reading is a prerequisite skill in doing other subjects, they are all having challenges. So it's true, I'm teaching science, but I could do this I could do that to help them build this. It's true. Very, very important. At the lower level and then the upper level, a teacher teaches all subjects. So that teacher can do this, what we are saying. But at the JHS, where they are also having reading challenges, it is only for the language teachers to help out. The rest, no, they come in to teach maths, and that's it. But just as I now enjoy being at the lower level because the foundation has become one of my passion to build it and to build it. So it's right. Teachers teaching other subjects will help us fuse in aspect of that reading. It will help us all.
Yeah. So in a particular school, you have different subject teachers. How can you work together to develop that basis of reading for all of the subjects? Is there a way that teachers can work together?
Yeah, we'll be meeting every Wednesday for PLC, Professional
What is
Learning
that?
Community.
Okay.
Professional Learning Community. This is where teachers meet and these kind of ideas that we are sharing, a theme or a topic, we place it before them. A head teacher, if he has it or he has the skill or the knowledge, if not, he will invite a resource person to come in. This is the topic I want us to talk about. How can teachers who are not teaching language will help improve literacy in their level of field or teaching? So it is there we will all come to a conclusion that, yes, I'm teaching mathematics, but there are some aspects, there are some keywords I could write and help them pronounce them and then add them to the World Bank. So it will promote reading. So it's kind of the meeting, the in-service training, the ELC, the Professional Learning Communities time that we meet. Then we discuss these nice ideas. So teachers get it themselves that, oh, it is true. They are also adding up. So the school is promoting literacy, the school, and not only the language teachers.
Awesome. So I feel like we've gone through a lot in this conversation. I originally met Yao because I saw a post that he made about reading on his Facebook page. You can find him on Facebook. He's Ya Egan, and you can follow him for more posts about reading and how to develop reading in the classroom. He's got a lot of ideas and he shares a lot on that Facebook page. But I reached out to him to have more conversation about his experience, and he was one of the reasons why this idea to have this podcast came into my mind, because the ideas that people are sharing across Facebook and in their classrooms, there's so many people that are not on Facebook or not on certain groups, so they're not getting information. And I just wanted to highlight different teachers who are in the field doing the work and really putting the passion so that we can all be inspired, that teachers can be inspired across Ghana, across West Africa, across the continent to really put in some of these strategies. So if you could just encourage teachers to change like three things, what would you say, just as in conclusion here, what would you say that teachers going into their classrooms on Monday, that maybe a mind shift change and then a classroom management and then a strategy for teaching reading, something like that. If you could just give three helpful hints for teachers that they could move forward in their development as teachers.
Thank you very much. I'll first begin by commending their work, the kind of work they are doing. Some are at a very difficult place, but they are managing, both males and females. Some are the cities, some are at the deprived districts, and they are all doing wonderfully well. God bless them for their work. They should keep up the good work. And I believe Ghana will be better in future when it comes to reading. To the classroom, I will say there is always inadequate resources. There will be always lack of resources. But with the idea that they should get things themselves, they should equip themselves, they should get resourceful by themselves. If they rely on the system might fail them. So I encourage them for them to get things themselves, to have what they want to do, to achieve it. In the classroom, especially my lower level classroom, my KGs, lower level 1, 2, 3, primary levels. Please continue doing the good work. Add this, have a morning routine. Have a morning routine every day. Sounds you have in your classroom, always visit them. Visit them. Let the learners pronounce. Let them spell. Right from assembly. Let them drill these novicanes, please. Go stand there. Let them say it. Look at them. Let them demonstrate to the next and do it. Things you have in your classroom, days of the week, months of the year, do it. Let them have it. So the morning routines every day continue to do it. Teach writing. Teach writing. Very important. And in fact, some of you are having large classes. It's amazing. Someone is handling 87 learners in one class. Don't wait for all of them to finish the work, pile the exercise, and then go through with your pen. When you give an exercise, walk through, check it. If it is not done well, don't wait them to finish and pile the book. No. Correct while we move through, correct while we move through, do it this way so they get it. Let the assessment, the correction be done while they are doing it. If you pile the books, marking it become very difficult. It's all about promoting literacy in our classroom. Then the last to add it, we should speak. And don't forget to teach the L1. We shouldn't forget to teach the L1. And then the speaking of the L2. Simple instructions. Simple instructions. Very, very, very important. They need to hear it because they develop it by hearing. If you don't speak it, they don't hear it. If they don't hear it, they don't develop it. So let's speak the language, they will develop it. While we teach reading and writing in another one, when the skills are transferred, it moves smoothly. So your learners will begin to read in L1, they read in L2 at the same time and speaking it. Very powerful. Thank you very much, Alec, for the opportunity.
Yeah. So that's a very important point because it's been proven, like in nations across the world, that children who are can learn languages simultaneously. I live in Morocco. Kids here are learning, they're speaking Arabic at home, they're speaking French at home, they're learning English at school, and they're learning to read and write in all of those languages. I experienced it as well in Korea, and I know that definitely it's happening in Africa as well with all the languages. So thank you so much for your time today, for taking the time out of your Saturday to share with us and to give us, tell us about your experience and what has worked for you. Looking forward to lots of success for the students in your district to really build up their literacy, and that we don't have the story that children are not reading, but that we can really be proud of the children and say, everyone is reading, everyone can read, just like the narrative that you want to change.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Are there any other words or that you have that you want to share?
Oh, personally, thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, you're very welcome. And thank you
You
as
are
well.
doing a lot. You are doing a lot. And I wish a lot of teachers will get to your page and learn from you for having to doing this over 30 years. Since we have a lot to learn from you. Continue to help us.
Thank you.
We need this kind of support. Teachers need this support almost every time.
And that's what it is. I aim to support, inspire, empower. Yao had mentioned earlier about the story of my COVID. I spent COVID in Ghana. So if you want to hear that story, you can look for the introductory video to Transforming Education to hear that story. And this will be posted on my YouTube channel, Irakuba Aim High Education Services. Please, if you enjoy this content, if you feel this is beneficial to Ghana, to West Africa, to Africa in general, please share with all your groups, in your groups, and let's lift up the teachers of Africa and really
So,
transform education to meet the needs of the 21st century. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye.
thank you very much.